Alright everybody, welcome back. We're gonna continue our playthrough here with the Swarm playstyle. Um, I'm actually picking up right where I left off when I finished my last stream, so we've not missed a whole lot. A couple of these items up here, this just tells me that some of my resources are full. So what you can do is, generally you can sell these other resources for energy credits, and then turn around and buy, maybe some of the rare resources, the more rare resources, or whatnot. And then here, this icon here is telling me that I have unspent traits for my species. So as you go through your technology tree, you can unlock some tech points for these species. So probably going to ignore those for now um, until I gather a couple more um, points so that it's a little bit more beneficial. So. We are also still continuing our war down here, down south with Yamaka. This little patch here, these are all ones that actually have planets that I'll need to invade to actually be able to take over completely. So I have some transport armies here. I'll need to bring my fleets back to bombard a little bit to knock down their armies so that it's a little bit more, so it's a little easier for me to invade without heavy losses. So I'll continue to keep my fleets over here to block any extra advance that they may have. And we'll just keep trying to play through here. Generally, you want your transport armies to be twice as strong as the defenders. They get a total garrison buff of 75 because that's what they have, military power wise. And we're bringing a 189, so we can actually kind of watch it. If it's going to let me. There we go. Basically, these are yours. These are taking over this front line. You take quite a bit of extra damage. Defenders are always have the upper hand. But it'll be nice if we can take this with no casualties. And we did. See here, this particular type of garrison with 167 would easily defeat our 189, I think is what it is that we end up having. So we'll have to either reinforce that fleet or move this fleet over to where, again, here's an 83. We could probably win that. We might get some losses, but we shall see. So what really sucks here is we had a fleet that earlier I wasn't paying attention that this was not an enemy territory, and it was um, just another NPC that's not related to a particular power, and my ships were getting damaged, so I wasn't going to win. So you hit retreat. When they retreat, they're no longer on this particular board. They're on a subspace, if you will. They get a little timer, and then they'll pop up back wherever their home station was. Well, I didn't change their home station, so now they are 1,526 days away from back where I need them, unless I go through this territory, which I can't win yet. So now it's going to take quite a long time to get them back to where I need them to be back in the fight, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, moral of the story is, when you're doing fighting, set your fleet that you're going to be that you're going to be fighting with back to your nearest territory for home base, so that you in turn are not having your ships jump all the way back across the map. Because now I have 5 years before they get back, and I don't know if this war will go on that long. So we will just have to make do with one fleet and try to keep them from advancing. I wanted to take this entire territory all at once, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen now because I made a mistake.
Construction is complete.
Looks like I muted myself there at the wrong time. There's a pretty competitive siege match going on across the table from me. Alright, so we moved our transport ships to land our armies back on a planet over here that's within our ability to take while we wait on our fleet to come here to orbitally bomb the former homeworld, so that that can be within our reach to land our transport ships without losing anyone. So if you have any questions or anything that you're unclear on that I'm doing, or it's just not clear at all because this game is quite overwhelming, feel free to ask. I'll answer the best that I can. But as of right now, I'm just going to continue to try to take over as much as I can here in one fell swoop.
Technology conceived.
So as we see down here, I talked earlier about war exhaustion while you're in a war. With my empire, I'm at 55%, and you can train some skills that reduce the amount of war exhaustion, or not skills. You can get an ascension perk, I believe, that allows you to reduce the amount of war exhaustion. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And then over here, as you can see, the people that I'm fighting are at a total 100% war exhaustion, mainly from their space battles. They've lost 19 ships, and then attrition, which is just the cost of the war. If I wanted to surrender and end the threat, it kind of gives you a breakdown as far as who gets what back and how somebody gets what back. You can settle status quo. Gives you a breakdown of what that says. Neither side currently occupies claimed territory belonging to the other. Status quo settlement, also known as a white peace without border adjustments. Basically, if you click these without being certain it's what you want to do, in other playthroughs, and with this, I'm still not entirely confident that if I hit surrender and threat, that it's not going to give them back everything that I've already achieved. But if they come to you with a status quo and a white piece, which is what happened last time prior to me streaming, I believe, I didn't have to give anything back, so I went ahead and I accepted it after a couple of times of them trying, and I had doubled my land grab, so we'll have to pay attention to it this time around and just see what happens. You can also go down to the bottom right hand corner if you're playing the game, click the help button, and it opens up an in-game browser, and all you have to do is search, for example, like war goals, if it lets me here, and I don't know why it's not letting me. Interesting. It's never done this before. Interesting. You can jump out of the game and pull up and type in like war exhaustion or status quo, settle status quo, or surrender or achieve war goals, and it'll give you a breakdown. You may have to read it a couple times. Sometimes the wording's a little thick to get through, or you could just risk it, try it, and try again. It's entirely up to you. I mean, it's your game, but I don't like to spend all this time and this effort into trying to get particular territories and not be able to keep them. So.
Technology conceived. Planetary infestation begun. Enemy nest taken. Our construction is complete.
What you just saw me click through real quick is certain NPCs. Hello, Lizzie. Um, certain NPCs roam. Some are merchants, some are mercenaries, some are just spacefaring nations that want you to give them things or they're going to attack you. I've never actually had one make it to me. They ask for food, minerals, or energy credits, and they'll skip over you until the next time they come around. But they do that to every other NPC in the game. So every other AI here that we're playing against, they'll do the exact same thing. And all these will do something different. And they'll fly through one of these nations and just flat out get hammered and never make it to you. So if they do it to each board or each entity on your border, then they're not going to get to you. I don't ever give them anything. Sometimes you can, and it'll make them friends with you, and they'll. I think it lets you use their fleets and stuff, but we'll see how that goes. But for right now, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I think in the last stream that it let me, or I said no, I'm not giving you anything, and they were destroyed
Construction is complete.
by another nation, so that was pretty funny.
No, not unless they do that. They've done it for about the past 2 years, so. Yeah.
We need to move these guys. Oh, we'll leave them there. Keep them safe for now.
Kids' bedroom.
Just waiting on these guys to get back over here so we can take this last run. And then when that should be by the time that our second fleet comes back around, which is kind of round in the bend up here, we can take this last bit of territory and we should be done. I'm going to sell our extra food here. I think the base price for these rare minerals or rare crystals or these minerals that you can produce with specialized buildings, I think the base price for 1,000 is 13,000. So once what you do is I'll purchase these, and for example, I just did that with alloys. I purchased the highest amount once, and it bumped it all the way up to almost 30,000 energy for the next particular purchase, and they slowly tick back down to 13,000. So I just kind of buy them in a round. I'll buy 1,000 of these and 1,000 exotic gases, 1,000 motes, 1,000 alloy. By the time I get back around, rare crystals will be back down to 13,000, and I buy those again.
You guys watching Doris for me? How did it get me? She killed me. She's right in front of your face.
So I was just thinking here. I've unlocked a battleship, but none of my fleets are comprised of battleships. And I know I told you last time I'd walk you through the fleet designer, ship designer, and so we'll probably do that here once we finish this last run. That way we can add battleships to our fleets, and I can show you some of the fittings. I don't. Watching my cat struggle here over on the cat tree. Okay. One thing I haven't been doing as we've been going along is this time around playing a swarm, since I've been picking up a lot of planets and territory from these land grabs quite a bit. I've actually set my planets management. I've used the automatic feature. Um, Basically, what you do is you select a leader, and depending on your leader cap, you may not be able to fill them all up if you go too fast. I give them a stockpile of resources to use to build buildings. You can either use energy credits or minerals. I like to keep them topped off at 5k, and then you can set their focus. So if you go to sector settings, if you just want them to be balanced and grow, it says it gives you an explanation on each type of one that you have here. I particularly like just to focus them on food, minerals, and energy. Once you become more of a dominating power, you can catch up on the technology. There's other people that have certain play styles that they want to maximize as much research as they possibly can right out of the gate, and you can change these as you go along. The one thing that they will not do though is if your building has an upgrade available, you have to physically upgrade that. And that's actually a good thing because building upgrades require these specialized resources that we've talked about a lot. Motes, gases, crystals, metals, dark matter, nanites. If you don't have a steady income of these, you'll immediately be in the negative, and if it's automatically upgrading these buildings for you, it can get quite expensive and run you quite into the negative. So it's pretty good to do this. I like to do a balanced, just kind of when I pick up new worlds, because these new worlds are hurting from being orbitally bombarded. Playing through as a swarm, your swarm actually kills off the local population and has to replace them. So it's good that the population is kind of destroyed, if you will, because if you go in and you build all these buildings, as populations die and you lose these planet tiles, your buildings are going to get destroyed. So so what I like to do when I'm moving into new sectors that are going to be managed by leaders, the stability is going to be low and the crime is going to be high, so I look for a leader that has some kind of crime boost. So this one here is righteous, it's minus 25 to crime. I'll pick them up. Go back through, go to pick another one. You don't always get to pick. If I don't find one that I like, I go with the youngest, so that you're not replacing them as much. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to that, but I'd pick 13 over 25, because that's 12 years that you're going to have this one longer than that one. And that's just the way that it works in my mind. So what we'll do here is we'll go back up. We don't want that screen. We want planet sectors. Go ahead and just add these in. So now you have a leader available for all these, and we'll go back to that screen again. And we will go ahead, we'll start here at the bottom. We'll top everybody off up to 5k. If you can't do 5k, 3k is fine. 5k is just kind of my OCD kicking in. Everything has to be the same. Another thing, another take if you want to have on it too, if you do pick up some homeworlds that have a ridiculously high amount of research or a high particular type of production, whatever it's going to be, you can gear this focus towards that so you get more benefit out of it. And you can always go back and hit sector settings and hit disabled, and you can manage it from there on out. But I can continue a long war or continue a large land grab and devote my attention elsewhere, while most of my stuff is being managed for me or expanded for me while the population grows, while I'm, doing stuff here on the war front, if you will. Let's get in here and zoom in on this. Alright, those are done. Move them down onto the next one. Yeah. Alright, give me just a second. I need to take a break here momentarily, and I will be right back. Alright, we're back. I need to figure out how to make that transition more better. Because even coming back from starting soon screen or the be right back screen, even if I have everything set up the way that I had before, it still has that black lag screen in between coming back to the game.
Probably the one you
Probably have to figure that out. Alright, so we're going to continue with our little fleet over here. Picking up all these extra systems.
Where do I find that information?
Our construction is complete. Technology conceived.
Alright, so we are full on food again. See, exotic gases, they're back down to 13,000 here. Motes are almost there. Alloys will take a while. Definitely rare crystals is going to take a while, but we will pick up some more. Oh, no, we won't. I need to stop going so crazy with that for a second.
It's that time of night.
This food is ridiculous. Could probably go back through here and click on policies.
I've got a couple handguns, but none of the other ones.
Um, food policy. We're already on the highest one for pop growth. Nutritional plenitude. These are policies are another way that you can change things around to kind of tweak the game, make it a little bit easier for you. There's also some war rules in here that, like if your particular playthrough doesn't let you do orbital bombardment, you need to turn it on first. Set your first contact protocol, meaning every person that you run into, you can be peaceful or friendly, but with swarm playthrough, you can only be aggressive. You set your initial border status. If you don't want people in your borders right away from the very beginning, you can set it to closed. This extraction focus or manufacturing focus, basically this just changes, the names will be different depending on who you play through. So swarm, it's just worded, it's worded this way. A manufacturing focus here would mean a boost to my alloys, and if I had factories on my planets that were producing the exotic gases, rare crystals, motes, whatever those are, those particular rare resources, it would give them a 20% boost. But seeing as we're taking over large territories, we just need to basically focus on the basic minerals, so that we can have enough to recover from all this. Yes, we're picking up all these bonuses per system that we grab, but in the end, everything costs a lot more to upkeep, so.
Oh, God, Grog. I know. I almost shot you. Hey, Evan.
Hey, yeah?
Did you change my sensitivity?
Yeah, you need to click it down one on the
Oh
arrow
my God.
to white. Sorry.
You need to turn it down one?
Yeah, turn it down to white.
They shouldn't be. We just got a whole brand new computer. No, he messes with my mouse sensitivity. Like, I have a sensitivity button on my mouse. For some reason, because he played one round for me, I changed it. Where is sight exactly?
Earlier I was talking about ascension perks. Once you fill up these tradition trees, you get one ascension perk each time. Once you fall into these, you can't adopt more, but it just makes sense. Excuse me, to fill out the rest the best that you can. The thing that stinks is like this one. It gives pop amenity usage and minus 10%. Swarm, you don't use amenities. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm entirely wrong. Disregard that. They do use amenities. But it gives you leadership buffs too. And as I'm gathering these territories that have stations, I'm downgrading them as we go because I start to exceed my cap here, and I'll lose minerals as they're coming in. Another way I could go about it is each one that I got, I could keep. I could start adding resource silos so that I could continue to stockpile resources. But I think we're going to do that as a follow-up afterwards to this little war that we have going on here.
By the way, this is gonna be going all night, Becca, so just stay tuned.
Our construction is complete.
They're in the room I'm in now.
Our construction is complete.
God damn it! Becca! Stole my Pikachu!
I think another thing we'll do here too is we will oh, we didn't look at this here. I forgot that these guys were already here. That should be something well within their ability. So we will land our armies there and go ahead and take that planet. Our other fleet has arrived. I had forgotten about that. We're going to orbitally bombard this particular fleet here.
Our construction is complete.
Just lets me know they're conducting their invasion there. I don't think you can see anything if you zoom in. No. But, you know, unfortunately, these little circles here will tell me, you know, how many they have left and so on and so forth. And again, we have taken that planet. We will go ahead and take these transport troops down to the next planet we're going to. This planet is going to go here to bombard that. Our minerals are full, so we need to sell those down, get some more energy credits. Good. This fleet needs to continue coming down and taking the next system. And that's pretty much
Technology
how to play Swarm in a war. Just make sure that you're not gonna lose territories that you've taken, which is hard sometimes. And rinse and repeat. I feel like this is definitely would be one of the easier playthroughs to learn because you don't have to worry about consumer goods. One of the harder things to get around your head around is upgrading your buildings because their upkeep requires you to use those rare resources again. And maintaining stability on your planets is hard as you take them over. But if you introduce the AI to rebuild for you, then you don't have to worry about that. Alright, so here's our fleet. And we can get a cool view going on here. Alright, here they go. And that's ours. Alright, so while we have this fleet, we'll select this fleet here. And we will move them on to the next one.
Our construction is complete. Technology conceived.
Alright. Go down, pick up the next one. Purple has appeared, so we'll go ahead and take care of that right off the bat. Another way to check, you know, if the person that you're wanting to take over so say, you know, the next one we want to do is the cartel here. I can't pronounce the first name. You can click on their icon. It tells you down here, you know, they're unfriendly, they're pathetic, but it also tells you their fleet power, economic power, technological or technology level, pathetic. Their fleet power is what's going to be fighting you off, so pathetic is pretty good. And we have a pretty sad fleet right now because we've not upgraded it since the beginning of the war. I generally, once I lose a ship or a fleet, I don't replace it until, you know, my technology has the best type of weapons and supporting features available. That way I'm not spending money over and over and over upgrading or rebuilding ships. So that's another good thing. So this fleet has made it into the system. Just to orbitally bombard them, since your fleet's automatically set up to do it. If you want, you can come up and hit orbital bombardment. And if you keep clicking it, it says it's selective or indiscriminate. If you want to take over the planet with minimal damage, you can select selective, and what it does is it only destroys military features. It breaks it down in the description. But if you just grab your ships, right click on the planet, and move them within orbit, they'll automatically I can't say it. Start orbital bombardment. There we go.
Found Tachanka.
Our construction is complete.
Destroyed his turret. What? Tachanka got me. His turret's destroyed though, so.
So see, paying attention here, we have this system. That's got more of those hostile NPCs. This one is it says Space Amoeba. It's fairly strong. I want to focus on getting the territories first. So we'll do that. We'll go around that. When it comes time to this system is in the territory. See, red is ours, tan is theirs, purple's the neighbors. There's nothing here. Nobody's claimed it, and it's not been surveyed because it tells you the intel level on it is low, so you don't know what type of resources that system has.
Do another field chart.
So what we will do is we'll save that for the end.
What is right at the bottom of the stairs? Those stairs. Hayes in there.
Our hive is under attack. Our mining hive is lost.
Just make sure you aim at the door when you jump. Just aim for the door. Just go, Lizzie.
Interesting.
But now he's gonna get situated where you blew a hole. I think he's still to your left, and make sure he doesn't jump behind you.
Okay.
So I just get in the room and go to your.
So here we have it's called Treyarch Raiders. I don't know if this is an NPC. I think it says independent, but
Trust us a little bit. We're not gonna steer you wrong.
we're going to go ahead and go through and grab our other fleets
No,
here. We'll put them on an intercept course here so they don't get any more. And this is going to be one of those situations where we're actually going to, because they are 12,266, we have 12,430, but, and then here in the system, we will have, we'll start to upgrade this. We'll swap these out for gun batteries, as we don't need them to be naval anymore. And we'll do a disruption field, which disrupts shields. Go ahead and check and see if they've bombarded this one enough. To 119, it's just not quite far. It'll have to rebuild. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to switch gears here, come back and protect our inner core colony or core sector of our nation here.
Our science hive is lost.
Because they're over there destroying parts of it. And for shits and giggles, we'll just land our army and see if we win. Because we don't want them to win. If we can take this with 199, that would be nice. So, oh yeah, I think we're gonna be okay.
Our construction is complete. Enemy nest
Nice.
taken.
Yep, that's ours.
They're upstairs. Don't know where upstairs, but they shot my drone like the minute I got inside. Don't know how the fuck they did that. They're watching this.
So we're doing okay down here. Pause that up so we can catch up on our notifications here.
That's the stairs that I was
Here's this particular swarm. So this is a piracy and NPC that's popped up to come in and take our system. So we don't have to be too worried about these guys. What we can do is we can go ahead into Fleet Manager, go to the actual fleet Let's confirm the name of this fleet. This fleet is Stalking Swarm, so go to Fleet Manager, go to Stalking Swarm. We have room for more ships as well, but what we'll do is we're going to add a battleship to this design here. Not only that, but we're going to add some corvettes. We're going to add 2 of the ones that we have already. Well, 15 destroyers is pretty good. And we have 16 cruisers. We'll bump that up to 20 each. So what we'll do is before we create our battleship design, we'll go through and go to ship designer. We'll go through each setup here real quick. We'll make sure that they have the most up-to-date fitting, because it's been a long time since I've updated these. So here we have small disruptors. We now have ion disruptors level 2, so the best ones to fit that with would be there. Everything's kosher over here, so let's go down to the bottom. And now we're up to shields 4, so we'll add shields, all 4 shields down there at the bottom, but the improved reactor doesn't provide enough power to support these shields. So, lo and behold, we have improved reactor 3, and we're good. So what we'll do is, I don't know why the name is a little different. Oh, it's just, if you write a name this big, shield damage Corvette, it just types onto the next screen and all you see is Corvette. You want to overwrite your last save. You want to make sure that this particular type of Corvette is set for Swarm, because these are close range weapons. And then it'll automatically shift the one that you've updated down to the bottom. I'm touching the screen like you can see this, but so it'll take the shield that was originally on top, move it down to the bottom. So here for hull damage Corvette, we have small plasma throwers, because it's probably what we had at the time. We'll go over the plasma cannon, which is the level 3 version of that, and its armor and hull damage. We also have gamma lasers 5, what are just for armor damage. Those aren't really good on a Corvette, so we'll go ahead and we'll stick with the plasma cannons, because we have auto cannons. Ripper cannons would be good, but we don't have Ripper cannons would be good. We don't have those yet. This mining drone laser and energy siphons are some options that we've picked up through situation logs as they've come through, and we've researched them with our science ships. So again, we'll go back down here. We'll update the shields to level 4. Again, not enough power. Reactor booster times 3. Make sure those are set to swarm. Save. Yes, override. We are done with Corvettes. Those are the most up-to-date that they're going to get. Now we'll go down to destroyers. I only set my destroyers up as a picket design, meaning they're like the middle line between your corvettes that are swarming everything and your cruisers. They're helping pick off enemy craft, missiles on the way in. And so you set up your destroyers with, you can have these different options, but I set them up for pickets. I just pick picket, and then I use flat cannons and advanced railguns. I believe that's what it was. Let's exit back out of this. Click on this again. Those were railguns. Okay, so update the flat cannons. Update the railguns to level 4. Advanced railguns level 4. Make sure down here your status is set to picket. Mine's got a little brain here because it's autonomous ship intellect. It's a little thing that I've researched. So these will all sit in a line at a certain range. Go down here again, update the shields. All right, so this is only using the first reactor. So uncheck hide obsolete, click improved reactor, and there we have plus 13. What this does is it keeps the cost a little bit lower, and there you go. You're done with your destroyers. Now cruisers, I set up 2. Because I used them in place of battleships as they've gone on. But I'll go ahead and I'll run with 2. They're set up for artillery, this particular one. Hide obsolete again. and we'll replace this particular. I'm surprised I got disruptors on there. How did I do that? Okay, well, we'll change these disruptors to level 2 because we know that. We're going to keep our cloud lightning, as that seems to be doing pretty good. It does. The thing is, it doesn't consistently hit as far as damage goes. It's either 1 or 136. But so you keep a few of these in your fleet, and they can either hit like a truck at times that you need them, and kind of be a tipping point in a good fight. Our armor slots are fine. Down here, in your auxiliary slots, I've clicked regenerative hull tissue, meaning it'll heal itself with armor and hull. You just go through and just read these, and you'll realize that um, that this will all start making sense. And then we'll just go ahead and update our shields. We don't have to update anything else. We'll keep Cloud Lightning. That's saved. That one's done. Click on the next cruiser here. This is our shield damage. This is all kinetic based damage. Go through and we'll select all these to be railguns. Go through, change all of our shields. All of our shields. I try to run these cruisers with a mixture of armor and shields so that my regenerative armor tissue is not negated. And make sure that these are set for artillery. These will sit about a range of 80. So we're sitting pretty nice here. So now we're done. We've gone through everything else. Take a peek here. This is your battleship. This is what the game has decided to fit it with. Sometimes the game's not very wrong. You can keep it and things will work just fine, but I like to tweak my own things. So we're going to do it this way. We're going to do an artillery, and a broadside. Actually, we'll do another artillery. We'll just do a whole artillery based battleship here. We'll give these a mixture of shields and plate armor, and what we will do is down here in the auxiliary, we're doing good on power, so we'll add a shield capacitor, a couple shield capacitors to boost that since we have enough power, and we will call this a shield damage battleship. Cool. Save that. Now we're gonna make another one just because we can. Another design that you can do is a carrier. And what you do is you click you set these sections up for hangar and carrier course, and then on the end here we'll set it up for broadside. So what we'll do is we'll come through and we'll fit all of our hangars with, well, I've never had these before, 16 to 26. Yeah, so these improved strike craft don't hit as hard as these amoeba flagella, but so cat's hanging from the curtains.
This cat can't say drone killer.
They both specialize in shield and armor damage. You can go through. I'm gonna use the amoebas because I've never used them before. So while these will take care of these will take care of armor and hull. This battleship's going to actually kind of be up close, and then we will use flat cannons to kind of intercept missiles and other strike craft. That's 30. These are 30. These are 10. So what we will do is we'll set this up as a line. It's a line at 50. Artillery's 80. Yeah, so we'll set this up as a line of 50,
You can do your actual bedroom though.
and we'll see how that works. Come down here. Do 4 shields, 2 armor, 2 shield caps, and we should be good. Looking at 139.57 damage. We'll call this a carrier battleship. Save that. Now let's go back and we'll compare this. So the automatically fitted battleship for you, if you took it from the game, would only be 83.8 damage. It costs 616 alloy. Now let's go down and we'll just pick our shield damage. That's 182.16 damage. So like I said, you could play with the game's auto. It might be nice. It'll automatically upgrade for you to the most available upgrades. But you know, right now, as sits, taking a little bit of time, reading through some things, fitting your ships will give you 100 more damage, which is just massive. And we will make one more battleship. There's 3 different kinds: carrier, artillery, and a straight broadside, which is up close, personal. And we will 36, 29. So what we'll do is we'll fit this with plasma cannons, I think. It's 166. We'll do lasers just because we can. Yeah, that's 211. So we'll just do lasers. And we'll add and we'll set this one as just lets you do line and artillery. I don't remember that happening. So the range in these is 60. This will set it up as a line at 50. So we're well within our range. The average damage is 6.16 per, or I'm sorry. These are all different, but down here, this doesn't lie. 201.
Oh yeah. I took a nap though. Yeah, I slept from like 1 to 5.
And you can experiment a little bit with these. So let's go through and we could change out the plasma, see if that's more. It's not going to be. Lasers. The tracking is a little bit higher on these, but the range is smaller. So we'll just call this a broadside battleship. Just hit save. And you have your 3. We'll go ahead and delete the auto because it sucks. You have your up close battleship, you have your carrier battleship, which is going to be in between the up close and the carrier, and then you have your it's supposed to be artillery. I need to make sure I change that to artillery. Save, yes. Battleships that hang out in the back. So for this particular reinforcement on this fleet, so that we can have without question, we will go back through to Fleet Manager. We will go to Add Ship Design. We will pick the broadside and the artillery. We'll add, starting off, I like to add 3 of each. But seeing as our command limit's too high, go ahead and cancel out. Perfect. So you kind of got to balance some things out. A lot of people keep it between 20 and 30 corvettes. About half of that for destroyers. 16 cruisers is kind of high, but I don't want to get rid of them. As they destroy off, I'll probably knock them down to 12 or 10. And then so we go up here. We look at this button here. This button here will tell me how much it costs to reinforce this particular fleet, which should be 5,444 alloy, 12 motes, 25 exotic gases, and 15 rare crystals. Since we have time to fight this particular entity, they're just holding the system. They shouldn't be moving. Let's double check to make sure I'm not a liar. Yeah, they're just going to sit there and wait for us to come. Because it's such a big deal that they have that system. We will have this fleet. Just so that we can make it relevant, we will upgrade it. Once it's done upgrading, we will reinforce it. And then we'll just kind of wait it out. Alright.
Technology conceived.
Down here, we will just go ahead and move this fleet, continue taking the rest of this particular system. Make sure our technology is still going. Do this advanced Corvette hulls because it adds a little bit of health to the Corvettes as we make them. Then we will get this climate restoration out of the way. I don't think I can use it on any of my planets, but we will see. Okay, so see, one of my scientists have died at the age of 103. So like I said, I like to go back through with all my leaders. First off, what are we researching now? We're researching a particle-based product or technology. Try to match those up with these symbols. If you're going to be teaching them or doing something physics related, I think that's blue. Dark blue, royal blue. Go ahead and grab the youngest. But this one I like the field manipulation. We'll do that. Add that in there, clear those out, and things are still researching.
I turned around too late.
So what's going to happen is, as future progresses with these particular types of games, these NPC or these AIs, NPCs, whatever you want to call them, will start to form defensive pacts with one another. And so if you declare war on one, you'll declare war on the other. So eventually your fleet size and defenses are going to have to be built well enough and upgraded well enough to be able to fend off 2 nations, 3 nations.
With his fucking crouch shots and shit.
Not for yourself. Yeah, it's gonna take a while for these ships to upgrade. We're only at 10%. I don't like to upgrade ships in the middle of a war. Just because.
Our construction is complete.
Alright, and we're gonna go back through. We're gonna land our armies again on each one of these little pockets so that we can make those ours. 1, 2, 3, 4 planets over here. And then we have this little last bit over here to finish up. Okay, these have no orders. So, let's go back and review these planets here. It's got 75, which is doable for us. This has 83, which is doable. This one has 83, which is doable. And the one I just sent them to has 83. So, what we can do is we'll just move this fleet back to there. This particular fleet is a bunch of old ships that I'm not going to pay to refit. I've just kind of been throwing them into battles hoping that as they would die that they would get killed off, but they've not died, so... So that's the relative size of some of these nations. I would say I'm on par. I'm almost the biggest. These other ones are going to be pretty hard to get. Put our map lanes back in there. Or hyperlanes. Yeah, this food is ridiculous. Yep, we're only a quarter away done. And I don't think... Yeah, I can't get by this fleet here without running into them to finish off this little area.
Technology conceived.
pick up the Citadel while we're at it, and I think we should be good. Let's go back through these new ones. Replace that with a resource silo. We'll leave that. Yeah, what we'll do is over here on the side, we'll just start scrolling through.
Not sure. They did last round, but. Turn on back up.
Alright, and to speed this up, we will sell 10k of our food. And we will sell.
Where is he?
Oops.
We just
Keep
stopped.
forgetting that you can't just click on the mineral and try to sell it. You gotta find the right one to sell.
We know, Doc. Oh, document.
And then we'll go to
He's gonna interrogate.
sectors here. We got one that's not even set up.
Yeah, we know Rook and Doc.
Alright, we'll assign another leader. We got one available.
Smoke's in front lobby.
Cool. I'm gonna try to speed this up. I don't want to wait all night for this fleet to upgrade itself.
We need, I think the last one's Valkyrie. He doesn't have a drop. Oh, there it is. The last one. Jack was on it.
Cool. Alright, we'll take this one. Go back over here. Destroy those like we said we would.
Planetary infestation begun. Enemy nest taken.
Alright, those will heal up along the way.
Our construction is complete.
Oh boy, this is taking forever. Alright, let's check out what the technology is available. Yep, we can get another Ascension perk if we unlock this one. So that'll take 5 years, but it's worth it.
Yeah, Black Ice for this guy.
Alright, now where's the best place that we can take these? Probably to this system.
Our construction is complete.
We're halfway. Upgrading. I don't know if there's anything that's available that'll actually increase the upgrade speed, because we're running pretty quick here on the game. The fastest setting anyway.
Our construction is complete.
I could be wrong.
Our construction is complete. Technology conceived. Planetary infestation begun. Our construction is complete.
You're right. What?
A war breaks out.
Yep. You guys, I got Monty.
Now we're so close.
Yeah, if anyone's in here.
Our construction is complete.
Sunrise with me.
Planetary infestation begun.
So basically we got 716 days to finish this war before it forces us
Doctors still alive.
to
Can't ping them both, but there's one.
forces us to finish here.
The others speak.
Dear Lord Jesus. I'm
decline their war offer. Go ahead and hit the reinforce button while we're at it. And I'll be right back. There we go. So we go down to the fleet manager screen. Once we hit that reinforce button here, it tells you where everything's being built, question mark? Yeah, where everything's going to be built, so on and so forth. I don't know if there's anything else being built here, but we will try to hurry this along. That kind of stinks, because for whatever reason it's not.
Planetary infestations begun.
Normally it builds from all the nearest. It builds from all the nearest shipyards to lessen the time of a reinforcement. But I'm
Our construction
not
is
seeing that.
complete.
Sell our extra minerals here.
Enemy nest taken.
Alright, so we have taken that last one. So now we'll move that all the way back up to here, so that we can start taking other things over, which it's not going to happen because it takes 600 plus days to get there. We have one planet left. Alright, an admiral died at 110, so whoop, we got one available. We'll use that one. Yeah, we are way over our starbase capacity, so we need to downgrade and get rid of some of these. And get rid of 2 more. Okay, we're back inside our cap. That'll cut back on the energy drainage because it's a huge penalty.
Our construction is complete. Our construction is complete. construction is complete. Our swarm is strengthened.
Yeah, so after that upgrade, my military power is now up doubled, 21.3k. So we'll just go ahead and get a move on here real quick. And I think everybody, this is where I'm going to draw to a close. I'm going to take care of our little baby here. But at the same time, I'm probably going to finish out this war here with this territory and plan our next one. So I'll probably be on tomorrow, which is a few hours now, the 11th. Look forward to seeing anybody else that new that wants to join. Hope this explains everything. Anybody goes through this or happens to see it, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I'll help you the most that I can. This game's pretty fun to me. I'm trying to raise a little bit of awareness for it. So thanks again, everyone. Thank you for coming. See you on the next one.